one of the most important things that you can do, particularly when you get up around my age, 57, 58, you really haven't got time to muck around with people that haven't worked it out yet. The time slips through your fingers. I can tell you, when you get to my age, you've really got to start making decisions that work in correspondence and reflect urgency for the time that you've got left. It's a choice that you really have to seriously consider, because time goes quick, really, really quick. I can remember riding my push bike along these roads here when I was 8 years old, 57. So time's really significant and important, and the decisions that we make and the awareness that we need to have navigating time is really important. There's no other way around it. It's just really vitally important. And what happens is, if you haven't done the work, the psychological work, the physical work, the relationship work, the self-accountability and self-responsibility work, you're going to run into people that are going to have done the work, and that's going to cause an innate instinctual manifestation within you that's not going to be comfortable. And this could be adverse in your relationships with people that have done the work, because they might want to help you and work with you and show you by example what the possibilities are for your life. But if you're unable to comprehend how somebody got where they are and have done what they've done in their 57 years, considering I couldn't read or write or anything, I was more athletic, and you're not willing to be able to comprehend that, then that's on you. What you'll find is a lot of people that aren't progressing, aren't making the right decisions, are falling into this trap via way of drugs, medications, alcohol, weekend drugs and all this other stuff, sabotaging the path that they're supposed to be walking on. It's affecting their relationships. They're ending up with no one and nothing. They lose their relationships. They want to take that out on everybody else. And that's not fair. These people know how to love bomb. They know how to talk it up and present themselves. They'll go for the sex to try and establish themselves in your life. But when you get to my age, really, sex is something that you enjoy, but it's not something that you should allow to influence you. If you can learn that young, you're a mile ahead, because a lot of these chameleons and people that are living in their sinful nature, or narcissists, or whatever you want to call them, psychopaths, dark triad types, you'll be able to spot them if you've got all your senses about you. They're going to come at you with sex, they're going to put on the performance, they're going to try and get a connection out of you. But that doesn't mean they're going to give a healthy emotional connection to you. They'll give you the physical part to try and keep you in, but that's no guarantee of the emotional part, the essential emotional part that should follow the physical intimacy. A lot of these people have made wrong choices in their lives. They've picked the wrong people. They've picked alcoholics, addicts like themselves, maybe prideful people, lazy people, people that were never going to be able to perform the way that they needed them to. They've made these choices. They've made stubborn choices, and they've been affected permanently by the time they've spent with these pathologically dysfunctional, characteristically flawed, selfish people who haven't known how to repair, have had every opportunity to repair, have done all the homework and know what the strategies are to be able to repair, but have just turned a blind eye. They've made the wrong choices to bring themselves to a place in life where repair and restoration and renewal could come. They haven't made those critical life choices. They've chosen not to. They've chosen to stick with an element of their habits, what they believe is a justifiable element of their habits, and that has undermined and underscored what they truly were valuing in life, and the value wasn't there to be restored. When you allow alcohol and drugs and recreational drugs and medications that are over and above the doctor's prescriptions, and you know it, a lot of you people know it, you know it, a snort of cocaine here and there and all this rubbish that people do to try and escape the inner pain. They just try and push the pain back again and again and again and again. They're not getting healed. These people are real smart and real cunning when it comes to infiltrating your personal space. They're brilliant at it. But what happens is, as these people age, you can see the damage that they're doing on their body. It manifests on their body, on their countenance, how healthy they are, how damaged they are. You can see it on their body as they age. And they know it. Oh yeah. So a lot of these older dark triad, I put my habits before the benefit of myself people that lived in the lusts of the flesh and sin and death and all that just encouraged all that for themselves. If you are initially involved with one of these people and you start to see the signs, it's going to be a matter of how much you can tolerate, because a lot of these people just aren't able to resolve in a way in which is going to benefit themselves, their partner, and the people around them. A lot of these people will lose a relationship through lack of resolve. And lack of resolve can come via many different ways: affairs, lying, cheating, and all these other ways in which people squander their lives and their relationships. Stealing, enmeshments with family members, that's a good one, the enmeshments. Seen that 1,000 times. Where a family member will become hostile, blatantly hostile, and start to vandalize who you are, and the person that you're with does nothing. Nothing. It's the most ugliest, unattractive form of a characteristic flaw that I've ever experienced. And no, I'm done with it. I'm going to speak up. These people, they got no backbone or spine. They don't know if they're coming or going. And the next thing you know, you're getting the blame for somebody else's infantile behaviour and mentality. It's quite bizarre, really, when you really look at it. It's quite bizarre. And so you have to be aware, right? You really have to be aware. Even at a young age, I understood women and their ways, the ones that were crooked. I ain't got a problem with that. I mean, if you're mixing with somebody, it's up to you as to what you're going to put yourself to the mercy of. But at any tick of the clock, if somebody's failing you, you've got every right to say, let's fix this, or sayonara. And you'll find a lot of these people just won't. They just won't. They've come to a place where that's as far as they'll go. It's quite alarming, really, when you think they're sleeping with you and they're being intimate with you and they're not prepared to go any further with the relationship. They don't know how to build. They're not used to it. They've had people in their lives, relationships, where nobody did fix anything. They just wore each other out until One went one way and the other went the other way. They hid with their habits and their alcohol and drugs. I just listened to a lady talking about how she used drugs and alcohol to try and cope with a narcissistic partner. She said she did it for years and had to find a way back out. I know women and men that have done it for decades and have died before they've found their way out. Some never find their way out. It's as simple as that. That's all there is to it. It's not a game, it's not a joke. These people use what they think to be their charisma and body parts as a means of bringing people into their lives. Well, you can get people in, but keeping them around's another story, isn't it? Everything's based on the honesty and transparency and the presentation of ourselves. You'll meet people that they play the victim. I've had this done to me, I've had that done to me, but they don't tell you the background story, right? Oh yeah, they're sucking up the alcohol and all the tablets and giving everyone the shits. They ain't telling you that side of the story. They're just telling you what's happened to them. And you've got to look past that. You've got to be more aware than just that. But this is what happens to people. You've got to be aware. The sex, I'm a victim, your sense to try and rescue somebody and you think they're going to get them out of what's happened to them. No. You're wasting your time. How many stories have you heard where you thought, oh, I wish they had changed? And then they meet somebody else and you go, oh, why are they doing that for them? It's only the love bombing stage. It's only the first part of it. Right? That doesn't mean it ain't going to work. I'm sure some of you have had exes where they've gone on to be a lot happier with somebody else than what they were with you. It all comes down to different personality traits, characteristics and mixtures, the way in which people mix together and get on together. We just pick people that aren't meant to be around permanently. Some people that we meet are just part of the journey, but we don't want to accept that. Sometimes we want to over-possess, over-devote, over-attach. And to some extent, that might be our fault. I think sometimes we're blaming people for showing narcissistic traits when it was ourselves that were being over-empathetic. We need to take all these things into consideration. If you see somebody being deliberately negligent, you've spoken to them about things, and the relationship's triangulated, and you've got outside interference and all this stuff, no. If somebody's not willing to resolve and get things in order, you know straight away that's what this person is. They've done this all their lives. They'll only resolve what's valuable to them. They might even resolve situations that are way worse than the one that you're having with them. And you'll sit there and scratch your head and go, why are they resolving that and they're not resolving this? It's because they haven't got the value. You're not valuable enough in their life. You've got to accept that and go, okay, well, I'm not as valuable as I thought I was. I'm not as important as I thought I was. And get out. Go to somewhere where you are. Because they're going to wear you out anyway. What's the point in getting mind trauma for people that aren't demonstrating the value that they should have for you? You've got to get back yourself. Well, I've had women come over to my place and got the royal treatment for months. And couldn't even resolve their adult children. Several of them. It's crazy. Couldn't even resolve their adult children to stay out of their business. And I've just gone, nah. And they'll turn around and blame you. Oh, no. 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 When you've got adult children that are making up delusions to try and vandalise who you are, you've got to wonder where that's coming from. 9 times out of 10, it's coming from the way in which they've watched their parents try to deal with things. Okay? It's domestically taught. Look at the children and you'll get a fair perspective on the parents. Just look at the children. You won't get a full perspective, but you'll get a foundational perspective to help you acquire the information that you need to protect yourself, to find out what really is the level of resolve these people have in their capabilities, so that you don't get sabotaged. You see, look, resolve's only as strong and as powerful as the weakest link in the relationship. That's as strong and as powerful as it is. You'll only get as much resolve as the weakest person in the relationship. That's it. There's no other way of explaining it. And if that person's unable to come to a place where they're able to bring resolve and it's so clear and honest without harming anybody, come to a place where everybody's going to be okay, and they're not able to do that, then you need to accept that you're with the wrong person and it's time to move on. It's hard. Yeah, you're going to end up on your own. You've probably invested a lot, but is the stress and the sickness and the illness that comes with that stress worth it? Worth it, really? No. As you begin to heal and come back to yourself, you'll be so happy with how you feel. Sad on the one hand that, you know, that relationship didn't work, but happy on the other hand that your life's back in order, because these people will pull you to pieces, they'll run you into the ground, and there's not much you can do about it once the relationship's established. You need to man up, woman up, be strong, look at things in their true perspective, and if you have to, that person's not going to bring resolve, walk away. Just walk away. Be prepared to count your losses. I'm Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Thank you for joining me. Take this on board. Bye for now.